Hey everybody, it's Mr. Giles, and today we're going to do an animation that I call the box fall. We're going to learn a few skills within Pivot where you can add figures, centering a figure, and using the arrow keys to find your figure. But let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get these figures. So I'm just going to delete them and show you how I did that. Now this is going to be relevant in my class. If you don't have any of the particular figures I'm using and you are playing along at home, a lot of these figures I found on droidz.org. That's droidz.org. Okay, so, but in my class, you're going to go to File, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to load a figure type. Okay, and you're going to go to the desktop. And on the desktop, we've got this Digicom $. This is just where we saved it. And there's a folder called STKs. And if you don't see your folders like mine, I always go to List. And it's alphabetical, so it starts with underscore because that's the first in the alphabet. And I go to STKs. And then I'm going to go to Objects. So, by the way, if you click on a folder, and then you type the letter, like for example, I'm going to type the letter O, bam, it jumps to where the letter O is in that folder. And so there you go. And then I can hit the Enter key if you're not good at double clicking. And I'm going to click again on the first one. Now if you click once and use the arrow keys, you can scroll through and see lots of things. Here's what we're going to get. We're going to get box. So if you were at the top and you hit B a couple times, well, there's a lot of B's, so that might not be the best example, but there's our box. We're going to open that. We're going to stick the box in. There's number one. Okay. Second thing we're going to add is a floor. So I'm going to go back, but since I'm doing this a lot, Control F is a shortcut for loading a figure type. And it's going to take us right back. You can see it's the objects folder. So we're back in the same place. I'm going to press the letter F for floor, and that's going to get me to the F's, and there's floor. It looks just like a line. I'm going to say open. And I'm going to grab it by the orange dot, and I'm going to put the floor down a little bit above the white. I don't want to put it flat on the bottom. I want a little space there. Okay? I'm going to take my box. I'm going to sort of stick it up in the air. By the way, the size of this document should be 800 by 400. It gives us sort of a widescreen aspect, and I have my onion skin set to 2, and I'm going to uncheck Show Ahead. I don't really want to show ahead. Okay, I'm going to say OK. So in my box, I have my thing. I have it set to 800 by 600. Now I'm going to load I'm going to add figure. You might already have your guy there. So if you do, that's great. That's how you add them. And you can go back and add any of these objects. And it always sticks it right in the center of the screen. So the dot is always going to be right in the center. So I'm going to take my guy. I'm going to make him a little bit smaller. I'm going to just highlight these numbers. And I'm going to type in using the number pad. I'm going to type 80, but you can also use the arrows. And I want him to be kind of a little smaller than the box. And I'm going to stick him up here. Okay, I'm going to get him out of the way. And I'm going to take the box and I'm going to put it up and out of the way. And the goal here is to animate a character falling into the screen. We're going to see some force. The box hits the ground. The ground's going to shake a little. The guy's going to hit the ground. He's going to land solid. He's going to bend his legs a little when he lands because he's human. And when you fall from any particular height as a human, you don't just land with your legs stiff. And the end animation should give us a little kind of a little fun with something falling, doing gravity. So first thing, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's no orange dot for me to grab here. So I'm kind of like I can't get to my character. So one thing I can do is I'm going to click on the character. Now I can't drag him from a red dot, but what I can do is I can actually use the arrow keys, these things right here. Okay, use the arrow keys. And when you use the arrow keys, you can move an object when you selected it. I'm going to try that again. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I was wrong. Okay, well, that sort of worked if I had his orange dot selected. Here's what I'm going to do. Over here on the left, I have the blue center button, and it will center the figure or the letter O. Then I can grab him and fix his leg and put him back up here where I can sort of get to him easily. Now, if I can't, once he's selected, I can actually use the arrow keys. I have the orange dot selected. I can use those arrow keys to move it. I can also use on your mouse, lots of your mice have, in fact, I think most current mice have the little scroll button. And if you use the scroll button, you click on a figure and then you scroll, you'll see he turned blue, and that's because now it's selecting. If you see here, the line is selected. If I do it one more time, the box is selected. Now if I use the arrow keys, I got the box. So I'm going I'm gonna see if I'm gonna get my character. I'm gonna move him down with my arrows, okay? And I'm gonna just scroll through and watch what happens. Scroll, scroll. See how it changed to 3 characters? So that's how you switch between characters. That's one way of doing it. You can also highlight multiple characters and move them at the same time. Okay, but back to the box fall. I'm going to open my screen up a little more so I have a little more space up at the top of my animation, okay? And I can get to, and I'm going to click, now I'm going to click off. I'm going to click on 1 so that they're both selected. I'm going to get the box sort of out of the way. I'm going to make sure I can still see the orange dot. I'm going to get the guy out of the way, still see the orange dot. And I'm going to put my ground right here. Okay, phase 1, box falls in. Here's that animation. It's going to be falling. This is a big heavy object, so we're going to start with it maybe halfway in, and I'm going to hit the space bar. And if that doesn't work, click add frame, and then hit space bar. And then the next time, it's going to fall like, it's about half. I'm going to put it at halfway from the box. So there's the box. I'm going to go halfway through the box. Then the next one is going to be like, I'm just going to have it right, just like a corner of the box. See how that little space that it's overlapping? And then it's going to hit the ground. And when it hits the ground, I'm actually going to go through the ground just a little bit like this. And I'm going to move the ground down. Okay, I'm going to hit space bar. And then it's going to pop back up to where the ground was just a moment ago, and I'm going to bring the ground back up because it's a heavy object, and I'm going to try to make sure I keep it right in that line because this is a big, solid thing. Okay, I'm going to hit space. Now I'm going to hit space bar 3 or 4 times. Okay, and I'm going to hit play. Poof. That gives me a sense of the box being really strong, and then the guy is going to fall in. And I'm going to do the same sort of thing, but he's not going to, the ground's not going to bounce when he lands because he's not a heavy person. So there's 1, and then I'm going to go half of his body, so I'm going to put his head at the middle. And then the third one is going to be like a lot farther, and the fourth one he's going to hit the ground, and he's going to bend his legs so that he's going to absorb the impact of his jump. And I'm even going to bend his body forward a little bit like this. I'm going to have his legs spread out because he's, like I said, he's falling from a pretty big height, and his body's going to do that. Then I'm going to have him lean forward like he just landed, and I'm going to bend his legs up a little more. I'm going to spread this leg out a little more like that, and then I'm going to hit space bar, space bar, space bar, space bar, space bar, space bar. And I'm going to hit play. Poof. There we go. Great. And then now a fun thing is you could try a couple different things. One, maybe have another box fall, and when it bounces, the guy will bounce up because, you know, he's saying, have the guy try to move the box and push against it, and the box is very heavy and it only moves a tiny little bit. There's a lot you can do with this idea, but there's the basic concept, and I gave you some new tricks and tips with Pivot also, for those of you that maybe didn't know those. And if you have any other great ones, you know, leave a comment. Let me know what are some things I'm missing that we should be trying. So there's the start of your box fall animation.